so much for joining me for this episode recap of LoveCraft Country. Of course, we're still in season 1, episode 9, which hit so deeply. Wow. I'm still in a shock of awe, just from what I saw, the emotions that poured into that screen, a lot of questions of why. Why? So with episode 9, just a general summary of the episode, we really delve into the real monsters. The real monsters in the world and in America. And it's white America. You know, it's racism. And what happened in 1921 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, was completely tragic in every way, shape, or form. And the sad part about it, the part that really boils my skin, is that these type of atrocities, or massacres, shall we say, have been happening since the late 18th century, since right after the Emancipation Proclamation. One of the first known ones that started, I believe it was in 1891, and I'll double check that. And I believe there have been 5 or 6, including the Tulsa one. I remember hearing about the Rosewood one. There've just been a lot, unfortunately. And Lord, this episode hit home for me because of the fact that it was just too emotional. It made me look at, and I couldn't even question it. It just made me look at the truth and honesty of this country. And the only question I could ask was just why? Why did this even have to happen? And then it made me feel tired. Tired of hearing the same stories over and over again in the news, even some that don't even hit the news. Tired of feeling discrimination. Tired of the redlining in certain communities. Tired of the injustices that are taking place in this country and world. Just tired of having to be reminded every single day of my life that I'm Black. There's not literally one day that goes by that I am not reminded, either by my peers, either by the people I walk out and see when I'm walking down the street or at the grocery store, or even in any store per se, that I'm Black. And it's so tiring. This episode really hit home for me, in a specific portion of it when... So 2 things happened simultaneously in this episode, and it was towards the end, and I know that this affected everyone who saw episode 9, which is called Rewind 1921. The first thing that happened was the epiphany that Montrose and his son, be it may not his son or not, it doesn't matter, that's his boy, but that Montrose and Tick had, which was of the savior who came and rescued Montrose, his brother, from the white mob, who were basically probably going to beat them to death. And the fact of knowing that that was his son. Yes. My husband and I were like, cracked them crackers in the head. But the fact that that was his flesh and blood who came back in time to save him. Lord. The dualism of, a parallel universe. I don't know how to explain it, but that was a beautiful moment. Awesome. Second thing that happened was when Letty was in the room with Tick's great-great-grandma, and they were together. The room was completely on fire. She knew her fate. She had the chance and opportunity to save her own family who were downstairs crying, screaming, yelling for her. But she knew that if she did not die at that moment, that then her legacy and what was supposed to happen with them needing that book, that she would not have been able to save not only her great-great-grandchild, but possibly even Letty's unborn child. So she knew that in order for her to die, then things could be made right. And the part that really hit me the most was when Letty was walking down the street. She could say walking through the fire. And the opera singer, Janai Brugger, which I looked her up after this. Lord, brother, brother, sister, sister. Come, come, brother, brother, sister, sister, catch the fire. Lord, to make this entire episode and what happened within the Tulsa Massacre an opera, Lord, it hit home so deeply. It touched so deeply, so deeply. Misha Green, I have to speak on Misha Green, who is the director, executive producer, and just complete genius when it comes to this show. Misha Green is the shit. Misha Green has hit on so many things that are unimaginable within a series that I have never seen before in my life. We're hitting on racism, discrimination, police brutality, social injustices, redlining, the kidnapping, death, and experimental treatment of black bodies. And on top of that, hell, let's put in some monsters and goblins and vampires, and let's add some motherfucking magic too. Misha Green, a black woman, created something that is profound, and I want to have this series in my library for a very long time. When my children are older, I want them to see this, minus the sex scenes, but I want them to see this. And it's just amazing. This entire season so far has been amazing. I have to tell y'all, I'm super scared about what's going to happen for the season finale, which is out in 2 days. I'm scared because I don't want Tick to die. I don't want Montrose to die. I don't want anybody to die. I want them to defeat Christina, even though I have to be honest, Christina's evil as hell. I understand people don't like Christina. She's the devil. But she's honest as fuck. She gives it to you straight. No chaser. She lets you know what her intentions are from the beginning. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. So I can fuck with Christina. But she got to go. So with that being said, Lord, I'm super excited to put this out here. Super excited that this is my first official serious video that I'm doing, recapping season 1, episode 9 of LoveCraft Country, and I'm looking forward to recapping episode 10, the season finale. I'll see you guys then. So I wanted to highlight one of the victims that Montrose mentioned in episode 9, whose name was Dr. A.C. Jackson. In the latest episode of LoveCraft Country, when Montrose mentioned the doctor who died in Tulsa, we have unfortunately researched him since Black erasure, which is an issue within modern America, and this is who he is. The prominent professionals, like Dr. A.C. Jackson, transcended, if only temporarily, The color line. Dr. Jackson, christened the most able Negro surgeon in America by the Mayo brothers of Mayo Clinic fame, treated patients of all races. The most prominent Tulsan killed in the riot was Dr. A.C. Jackson, a 40-year-old surgeon living at 523 North Detroit Avenue. According to Jackson's white neighbor, former police commissioner and retired judge John Oliphant, Jackson had raised his hands to surrender to a group of whites when two of them shot Jackson dead in what Oliphant called cold-blooded murder. Till this day, it's very few who are held accountable for their actions towards black people. This episode was a lot to digest.